21. The Residential Appraisal Report. A week after Lisa's apartment building closed, Michael received another phone call, this time from his younger sister, Emily. "I'm buying my first house," she said excitedly. "The lender just emailed me a copy of the appraisal." There was a brief pause before she added, "It's over 30 pages long. I have absolutely no idea what I'm looking at." Michael laughed. "Don't worry. I used to think the same thing. That's a common reaction among buyers, and even among newer real estate agents. Many people open an appraisal report, immediately flip to the page containing the final opinion of value, and ignore everything else. Experienced Arizona brokers know better. The value conclusion is important, but understanding how the appraiser reached that conclusion is often even more valuable. A residential appraisal report tells a story. It explains what property was appraised, why the appraisal was performed, what market evidence was considered, how comparable sales were analyzed, and why the appraiser reached a particular opinion of value. Let's begin with the subject property section. This portion of the report identifies the property being appraised. It includes the address, legal description, parcel number, ownership history, occupancy status, site characteristics, zoning information, neighborhood description, and physical improvements. This is one of the first places experienced agents review. Why? Simple factual mistakes occasionally happen. Perhaps the appraiser listed the home as having 3 bedrooms instead of 4. Maybe the report reflects an incorrect lot size. Or overlooks a recently completed permitted addition. Errors are uncommon, but when they occur, identifying them early helps avoid unnecessary complications. Next comes the neighborhood analysis. Remember our earlier discussion about location? Here's where the appraiser documents neighborhood characteristics, market trends, housing supply, demand, marketing times, and overall market conditions. This section helps explain how the surrounding area influences value. For example, the report may discuss whether prices are increasing, remaining stable, or declining. It may identify new construction activity, changing inventory levels, or other neighborhood influences affecting buyer behavior. Understanding this section helps agents explain why market conditions may support or limit a property's value. Now we arrive at one of the most closely examined portions of the appraisal, the sales comparison grid. This page often receives the most attention because it shows the comparable sales selected by the appraiser. Each comparable is compared to the subject property. Adjustments are made for differences in square footage, lot size, age, condition, quality, garages, pools, views, location, and numerous other characteristics. Here's where many agents get into trouble. They focus only on the adjustment amounts without reading the appraiser's explanation. A buyer may ask, "Why did this comparable receive a $20,000 adjustment?" The answer isn't simply because the appraiser felt like making one. Those adjustments are intended to reflect how buyers in that particular market react to differences between competing properties. The report also contains photographs. Most residential appraisals include photographs of the subject property, the comparable sales, the street scene, and important interior rooms. These photographs document the property's condition on the effective date of the appraisal. For agents, the photographs can also help confirm that the appraiser inspected the correct property and accurately described its condition. Maps are another important component. The appraisal includes location maps showing the subject property and comparable sales. This allows readers to see where each comparable is located in relation to the subject property and helps explain location adjustments that may have been applied. You'll also find certifications and limiting conditions near the end of the report. Although many people skip these pages, they're extremely important. The certifications explain the appraiser's responsibilities, affirm compliance with USPAP, and disclose that the appraisal was completed independently and without bias. The limiting conditions explain assumptions, extraordinary assumptions if any, and the scope of the appraisal assignment. These sections reinforce the professional standards that govern appraisal practice. Let's return to Emily. She had been worried because one comparable sale looked significantly smaller than the home she was purchasing. Instead of assuming the appraisal was incorrect, Michael showed her how the appraiser adjusted that comparable to account for the size difference. Suddenly, the report made much more sense. She realized the appraiser wasn't looking for identical homes. The appraiser was comparing similar homes and making supported adjustments to reflect market differences. This is one of the greatest values a knowledgeable real estate professional brings to a transaction. Rather than simply handing a client the appraisal, experienced brokers help clients understand what the report actually says. They explain the comparable sales, they review market conditions, they identify factual information, and they answer questions using objective market evidence instead of personal opinions. Here's where many agents get into trouble. The appraisal arrives, and before reading it, they immediately tell the client, "I don't agree with the value." Experienced brokers take a different approach. They read the report first. They verify the property information. They analyze the comparable sales. They understand the appraiser's reasoning. Only then do they determine whether any legitimate concerns exist. That approach serves both the client and the profession. In the next section, we'll examine some of the most common red flags found in residential appraisals. You'll learn how to identify issues that may affect financing, negotiations, or closing, and how experienced Arizona agents help clients address those concerns before they become transaction-ending problems. Broker tip: when reviewing an appraisal, start at the beginning, not the end. Verify the factual information about the property before analyzing the comparable sales and final opinion of value. A careful review often answers questions before they become disputes. Online discussion. 1. Why should real estate agents review an appraisal report instead of looking only at the final value? Answer: the appraisal report explains how the appraiser developed the opinion of value. Reviewing the property information, neighborhood analysis, comparable sales, adjustments, and certifications helps agents understand the reasoning behind the value conclusion and identify any factual issues that may need clarification. 2. What information should an agent verify when reviewing the subject property section of an appraisal? Answer: agents should verify the property's address, legal description, square footage, bedroom and bathroom count, lot size, improvements, zoning information, and other factual details. Confirming the accuracy of this information helps ensure the appraisal is based on correct property characteristics. 3. Why are photographs and maps included in residential appraisal reports? Answer: photographs document the property's condition and features as observed during the appraisal, while maps show the locations of the subject property and comparable sales. They help readers understand the appraiser's analysis and provide supporting documentation for the valuation.